monsters invaded the world, and this phenomenon was known as the invasion of the world. One day, through the opened gate, monsters from another realm poured out, and the world of humanity faced the threat of destruction. At that very moment, connected to the gate, and opened as if salvation itself, the world of swords and magic, Einhart, and through inner energy from the Dantian, martial arts were wielded, the martial arts world, Murim and the land of demons, Gehenna, a name befitting hell itself. Humans who once ruled over Earth could only suffer in such an era of chaos. However, soon individuals awakened, harnessing the system and gaining superhuman powers. They fought with the monsters, saving many people, and they were known as players. Our MC, Lee I-Round, is also a player who is on a rescue mission. He, along with his team, saves the people and tells them to stay away from the gate since it's dangerous. Our Emek notices a monster and immediately opens his status window to appraise the monster. The status window appraises that it's an intermediate-ranked monster known as the three-headed werewolf. It also points at the person in the car who needs rescuing. He orders all of them to catch the crazy dog along with him and instantly jumps into the battle area. Although being warned that the monster, which are above intermediate-ranked, are handled by the Volcano Guild, he still insists on helping them because the members of the guild were struggling. He used his exclusive skill from the controller of the hidden class named Status Control. With the help of this skill, his attack power increases by 60% and willpower increases by 30%. Last but not the least, his weight increases by 300% due to the effect of the skill, and because of that, he starts to lose his strength. He looks back smiling, knowing that his friend will help him. He asks his friend to cut the crazy dog's head. His friend runs forwards and uses a tanker skill. Irun smiles, thinking that his friend always has been protecting his back, so this time it also won't be an exception, and regards him as true companion, or it was what he thought at that time. Suddenly, his friend lands behind him and attacks him. He tells Irun to die so that he can survive. The betrayal of his friends as he runs to evade with the one he trusted. But in the end, the girl he trusted also betrayed him. Everyone he trusted and relied on betrayed him. In the present, he is being scolded by a nobody in a place named Muja-Egg-Yong, a monster corpse disposal area of the Volcano Guild and Hell itself. It's already being 5 years since he fell into this mess. Just before he is about to lose consciousness, he thrives to see the status window, knowing all so well that it wouldn't appear. But to his surprise, 2 messages pops up. One with a blue light and one with a red light. The first one says, "You have been chosen as the vessel of chaos. Will you accept?" Following the second one with a warning, telling him to choose wisely because through this decision, the destruction of the world may depend. Without lingering, he willing accepts to end this suffering life of his. What he encountered there was the legendary existence of Gehenna, ruling the current Earth, also known as the Three Kings. They are the legends that have been forgotten in the 3 worlds, remaining only as history. The King of Silver, who conquered the continent with a single fist, named Mu Wang. The King of Einhart, who split the sky with a sword. The Sword King, and the God Slayer, who killed a god and destroyed divinity, the King of Gehenna. Demon King. Currently, Irun is in the chaotic world where the 3 kings were sealed. Why is your gaze like that? Is this child really the vessel of chaos? The Sword King questions. Mui Wang tells Irun to look at them instead of looking elsewhere. The Demon King comments that it's understandable because he was dragged into this place without any prior notice. As Irun starts to look upwards, he sees the status window telling him to pass through this place, to become the vessel of chaos, along with the previous warning that he received before selecting his quest. He wonders whether he will be able to take revenge on the world that betrayed him. The Sword King speaks up. He asks whether Irun will be relieved by taking revenge by destroying the world. Irun says that he truly hopes for the destruction. Then the Sword King replies that if that happens, Iroun won't be the one taking the revenge, but the chaos itself. The King of Silver, Mui Wang, explains that it means Iroun will have his body and mind taken from him and will only receive the message, "The world has been destroyed." "Is that really enough for you?" the Demon King asks. Then, Iroun asks what they expect him to do in this situation. The Demon King replies that they will let him carry out his own revenge by his own hands. They say that someone must carry out the killing, whether by beating or tearing, with his own hands to truly taste what revenge feels like. Iroun states that he can't even speak properly with this trash body of his, and having lost his player powers, he is now nothing but a mere slave. All three of the kings speak simultaneously. That if Iroun inherits everything from them, and if he can trap the chaos inside of him, revenge will be a piece of cake. If he sets his mind into it, he could even become the rule of the entire world, and they will make sure that it happens. Iroun thinks that the purpose of the three kings, who demanded that he become their disciple, despite being broken, wasn't important, as long as he could take revenge on them. "Can I call you masters?" The three kings get shocked to hear their disciples answer so fast. The persuasion felt too easy. Thus, Iroun became the disciple of the three kings. After that, in the world of seals, where time and death have stopped, after endless training, finally, he succeeded in trapping chaos inside him and returned to his world at the same time he was gone, as if time was stopped for a mere moment. He is getting stamped, but after coming to his senses, he quickly deals with his opponent. He calls for the status in his mind, but as expected, it's not showing. He notices that his body has remained in the same state without any changes, having lost his player powers. He thinks that without Master's words, he would have thought the past 100 years of training were nothing but a dream. Previously, Mui Wang explains that once Iroun returns to his world, he will likely lose all the powers you inherited from them. Iroun seems confused. So the Demon King says that it will happen because their powers are far too overwhelming for his world to handle. And now, with chaos inside him, even more so. Mui Wang says that when Iroun returns to his world, he has to make his body so that it can handle and contain the powers of the three kings and the chaoses. The person who was assaulting Iroun yells that he will kill Iroun. He goes to attack, but Iroun blocks his fist. He is Supervisor Cheol Taemin. This bastard, who had been like a demon to Iroun for the last 5 years, is only level 5, so with the reset body, Iroun could never lose. At that moment, he remembers Mui Wang saying that even a country bumpkin can easily overpower a lowly warrior if they can control killing intent. Since killing intent is, after all, the mental strength. Iroun crushes Cheol Taemin's fist while telling him that he will tear him apart and reap him to pieces. That's how he made a deceleration of murderous intent. Clumsy violence will only provoke resistance, but fears. It's something that gets engraved deep into the bones. So from now on, whenever that guy looks into Iroun's eyes, he will wet himself. Anyway, he decides to leave his place before the Volcano Guild guys who trapped him here. Notice. He breaks the chain while an old man asks him what he is trying to do. He looks into the monster corpse disposal area full of toxic fumes emitted from the discarded corpses, where even the administrators avoid getting too close. The true hell that lies deep within this place, and this is the place where Iroun will be reborn. He jumps into the place which is the perfect training ground for the blood demon technique. In the phase of his training, Master Mui Wang said that there are various martial arts and secret techniques, like the volcano's divine technique. The blood demon technique that Iroun will learn is at least 5 times greater than those. It is, after all, the strongest martial art. He said that the principle is simple. He just needs to steal what belongs to others and make it his. Iroun recalls that a vicious dark magic that absorbs the life force embedded in blood to cultivate inner power. That is the blood demon technique. However, to use this technique, he must create a Dantian within himself. Dantian is the source of power for the Silver World warriors, similar to the player's magic core. But unless the user is from the Silver World, this is quite impossible to achieve. Nonetheless, if there is a will, there's always a way, said Mui Yang. He said that it doesn't matter if it takes dozens or hundreds of deaths. Around just needs to keep learning until it works, until he succeeds. So, our MC Iround, following the transmission method that the three masters devised over 3,000 years, after thousands of deaths, passing through. In the end, succeeded in creating a Dantian, and he clearly remembers all of that process. The first step is to absorb blood and circulate the energy. The second step is to create the blood Dantian. That's how he will achieve the blood demon absorbing technique. But the pain he is feeling while achieving this is undoubtedly unbearable and unfathomable, because the technique is not of this world. The reason why access is prohibited, even inside the monster corpse disposal area, is not just because of the toxic poison emitted by the monster corpses. It's because of the deformed monsters created by the death energy of the monster bodies. In other words, it's the den of undead. After he has achieved the technique, a goblin jumps towards him to attack. Goblin and zombie, each of their attacks carries toxic poison, and they are immortal until their necks are severed. If it were Iround's old body, he would have already become their meal. But since he has reborn in this area, these goblins and zombies are nothing but mere pathetic creatures. He crushes the skull of a goblin with his bare hands. A group of goblins rushes at him. This is the realm of crimson blood. In this realm, Iround can absorb his opponent's blood and turn its nutrients and energy into his own. And another benefit of crimson blood is that it collects the residue of blood and iron to create a steel ball. Thus, using that steel ball, Iround firstly crushes one of the head of a goblin. He immediately creates many steel balls to eliminate all of the goblins. He says that he will devour them, without leaving a trace. He creates countless steel balls as he is adamant to kill every one of the goblins because in the end, these creatures are nothing more than his prey. If you look clearly, Iround's full body has been reborn, and it looks similar to when he was a player. Then, suddenly from the back, a giant troll attacks. But Iround jumps backwards. He smiles as he says that this is the level of creatures he was expecting to appear. Cheol Taemin is completely broken. He is crying like a baddie. Shin Hong has arrived at the scene and see this situation. A subordinate of Shin Hong comes and tells him that he has gathered all the guards who was present during the incident. The guards comes and lines up in front of Shin Hong. Shin Hong tells them to report everything that has happened. Cheol Taemin was training a slave who had been dozing off, but the slave suddenly grabbed Cheol Taemin's hand and, just like that, suddenly, Cheol Taemin starts to behave weirdly. A guard tells this to Shin Hong with a shaky voice. Seeing the nervous guard, Shin Hong asks the guard that if there was any other unusual things that happened. The guard lowers his head and says that the slave just glared at Cheol Taemin. Glared? Could it be killing intent? But that's impossible unless they're a martial artist with inner power. Shin Hong thinks this. He then asks the whereabouts of this slave. The guard replies that he committed suicide. Hearing this, Shin Hong asks them to show the body. He took it to the corpse disposal area. It must have melted away due to the poison there, the guard replies. Upon hearing this, Shin Hong gets angry and he grabs the mouth of the guard and says, "So, you lied and reported that he committed suicide to avoid entering the corpse disposal area. Do you even know why I'm here? Because some useless guards were attacked by a slave? I don't care if trash like you dies. I felt the slave's imprint being destroyed on its own, and yet you lied about the suicide without even finding the body? Do I have any reason to let you live?" The guard begs Shin Hong for his life, but Shin Hong didn't show a bit of mercy. He just crushed the head of the guard. Seeing this horrible scene, the other guards stand completely silent. Shin Hong looks at them and tells them to choose. Will they end up like this guy, Or will they go find the slave's body in the disposal area? Without wasting a single second, the guard tells Shin Hong that they will go to the disposal area to find the body. Shin Hong gives a deadly glare at them and tells them to hurry up. The guards then rush towards the disposal area without a single thought. Anyway, those trash guards will die from the poison before they can find the body. After we return, we'll check the equipment, then head into the corpse disposal area. Shin Hong tells this to his subordinates. After that, we can see the scene of 2 weeks later. Lee Ai-raun is absorbing the bodies of the zombie monsters. The amount of monster in the area is close to 0. Upon absorbing this huge amount of monsters, Lee Ai-raun has reached the second stage of the blood demon absorption technique, self-blood. While he is standing, he scents a tremendous poison leaking from a gap. He throws the purple ball to that gap. The power of the self-blood technique is the concentration of power and explosion. Upon hitting the wall, it explodes and bursts open the huge wall. As the wall is broken, thick, potent poison flows from it. Another power of self-blood technique is its resistance to poison is several times stronger than the blood essence stage. If Lee Ai-raun hadn't reached the self-blood stage, his body would have melted by now. The transcendental species, monsters with the highest danger level, types of monsters you should never face. Among these transcendental species, the most famous and noble kind, dragon. Once, a dragon escaped from a gate. The serpent dragon, Algolas. A dead dragon revived after a long time, filled with rage. Many players risked their lives to face it, and miraculously, they succeeded in slaying Algolas. Naturally, the world went into chaos, and what drew the most attention was the value of its corpse. Its blood is the best alchemical material, and its bones can be made into unique-grade weapons. But Algolas is a being tainted with poison, rage, and magic. Usually, just touching the corpse would make your whole body melt away. That's why, with Einhardt's technology, they created a corpse disposal area to naturally purify it and sent slaves to absorb the poison. Volcano Guild. I'll make sure to take all the hell you've sent me so far with interest. Lee Ai-raun says this out of resentment towards the Volcano Guild. Lee Ai-raun then touched the dragon head and uses his demon blood absorption technique. While Lee Ai-raun was training with the 3 kings, he tells them about this dragon, and this plan of absorbing the dragon. The Silver King tells him that it's a good idea as it will help him recover a lot of power. But the process of absorption will hurt like hell. Back to present as Lee Ai-raun starts to absorb him, full body turns red and his blood vessels pumps out. The pain is unbearable. Lee Ai-raun's mind is about to black out. If he hadn't done his training with the 3 kings, he would have lost his conscience by now. The power of the dragon is immense. His internal energy is rapidly building up in the blood circulation. Even though the dragon has been dead for a while, this power is still incredible. Lee Ai-raun vomits blood as his blood circulation is already full, even though he has been compressing his inner energy with the self-blood technique. If Lee Ai-raun stops now, the internal energy will backfire and kill him, but if he keeps absorbing it, his body will explode. This is the expected result, but is this the final method? In Lee Ai-raun training period, he asked the King of Gehenna that what will happen if he can't absorb all the power of the dragon. The King of Gehenna replies that dragons are highly regarded even in Gehenna. As you said, it might be difficult for an ordinary human body to fully accept such power. The answer is simple: become a dragon. Hearing this, Lee Ai-raun gets shocked and asked if that is possible. Wow, look at you. You're surprised by that when you've received all our essence. Your goal is to regain the power you once had, right? A dragon is just a step you'll pass through. Back to the present, Lee Ai-raun is absorbing the dragon. Based on the biological information he learned from Master Vergina, Lee Ai-raun will reconstruct his body and undergo another transformation. Li Iroun is determined as there's no such thing as impossible, as he is even taken in chaos. The Silver King tells Li Iroun that transforming into a dragon embryo body. That's a good method. In the Silver Realm, those who possess the body of a dragon are called Dragon Bone Body. Li Iroun successful undergoes the transformation, and he has full absorbed all the power of the dragon. Due to the sudden power outburst, an earthquake occurs that shakes the whole area. Shin Hong and his team quickly rushed into the disposal area, and they get shocked to see that the whole area is clean. There are no corpses, and the poison is gone. Shin Hong is shocked to see this, as it would be even impossible for a Guardian-level mana user to do this. Shin Hong then thinks about the dragon corpse, and he orders one of his subordinate to quickly go and report to the guild about this. Upon hearing the order, the subordinate rushed to get out. While he is running, Black Ball comes in front of him and hits on his head. Upon getting hit, the man flies away, and the ball shines brightly and explodes, kill the man instantly. Shin Hong looks back and see the wave of explosion. He uses another subordinate as shield and gets out unharmed. The intensity of the explosion is very high. If a few more occurs, the disposal area will be blown away. You became the commander of the Volcano Guild's engineering unit, but you're still the same, hiding behind others out of fear. Traitor! Kim Shin Hong! Li Iroun comes, tells this, pointing his finger towards Shin Hong. Seeing Li Iroun all fine and well, Kim Shin Hong gets furious and asked if he really is the Li Iroun he knew, and how is he still alive. Li Iroun looks at his body and says that it's a bit disappointing that he wouldn't recognize his close friend. Iroun teases Shin Hong, saying that he heard that Shin Hong betrayed him because he wanted to be a raid leader, but it seems like that he has turned into a coward. Shin Hong's face turns red out of anger, and he orders the Black Hawk team to kill Li Iroun. Black Hawk, a personal escort assigned to raid leaders and above in the Hwasun Guild. Their skill level is usually above level 90 by player standards. They are experts on the verge of becoming a ranked. The team members rush to kill Iroun with knife in their hand. They use stealth, that is the trademark technique of Black Hawks who are trained as assassins. One Black Hawk member ambushed Li Iroun from the back using the stealth technique. But Iroun noticed it, and he used a black ball and hit the man right in the head. The technique that Li Iroun used is the third level of the Blood Demon Divine Art Black Blood. The man flies away, and as he reaches the other members of the Black Hawk, he explodes. This is due to the affect of the Black Blood. The Black Blood sphere, once fired, splits like a shotgun blast, and it absorbs the opponent's internal energy and magic upon contact, and then explodes. Li Iroun rises his hand and makes tons of this black spheres and crushes them with his hand. The sphere gets into small pieces and hits the other members of the Black Hawk. Within a few seconds, all the members of the Black Hawk are dead. Kim Shin Hong is the only one alive, and he questions himself that how can a human uses such a powerful technique. Kim Shin Hong then uses his skill information search and tries to scan the power of Li Iroun. As he uses his skills, he felt a sharp pain in his head, and there is an error in his search skill. Shin Hong gets nervous, as he has never seen this before. Li Iroun starts to walk towards Shin Hong and says, "You're dying to know, aren't you, about how I gained this kind of power? You must be curious. You never act without sufficient information about your opponent. That's typical of you, the guild's main tank." Kim Shin Hong grabs his longsword and says that he is no longer the tank Kim Shin Hong that he used to know as a part of the dank. Kim Shin Hong swings the sword and says that he is the leader of a raid team of the Hwasun Guild. Shin Hong tells Li Iroun that he is always the same, always thinking he is superior, always pretending to be righteous. Shin Hong points the sword at Iroun and tells him to act like before, rushing in without caring about other teammates and rampage as he wish. Li Iroun pulls out his index finger and creates a black ball and tells Shin Hong that he plans to do exactly he has said. Saying this, Iroun launched the black ball. Shin Hong tries to stop it with his long sword, Upon coming in contact with the sword, the ball explodes, pushing Shin Hong back. In the meantime, Lee Irun gets behind Shin Hong and again launched the black ball. Shin Hong responds quickly and summons the white shield and block it. He gets furious and attacks Lee Irun. Lee Irun leans back and dodges the attack. Shin Hong sees this and changes the trajectory of his sword and performs a vertical slice. Lee Irun uses his black blood balls and blocks the attack. The ball explodes, pushing Shin Hong backwards. Shin Hong gets curious that how did Lee Irun gets this much power. He shouts out of anger and demands an answer from Lee Irun about his mysterious powers. Lee Irun says a cowardly traitor like him doesn't deserve to know that. Shin Hong gets mad and rushes to attack. Lee Irun stands still and creates a black ball and tells Shin Hong that all his efforts are of no use. While charging, Shin Hong summons white shields, and the shields completely surround Lee Irun. Shin Hong then inserts his sword in the gaps of the shield. He then uses his full power to make the weapon explode. A huge explosion occurs that breaks both the sword and the white shields. Shin Hong looks completely exhausted. The whole area is covered in smoke. Shin Hong feels relief thinking that Lee Irun is death, as even a ranker wouldn't be able to survive this. But as the smoke clears, Shin Hong gets shocked to that Lee Irun is completely unharmed. Shin Hong quickly grabs his other sword and shouts, "How are you still alive?" Lee Irun didn't let him finish his words and quickly grabs Shin Hong's face and holds him on the ground. Lee Irun uses this absorption technique and starts to absorb the powers of Shin Hong. Shin Hong is screaming in pain. Lee Irun gives a disappointed look and says that it's way too easy. Chaos, a being that thrives on the destruction of worlds. It transcends time and space, wandering through dimensions in search of one worthy of becoming its vessel. Worlds upon which chaos descends are consumed as its nourishment and meet their demise, and Lee Irun has trained for over 100 years to seal this chaos. But in the end, he has to cross the path and become a vessel of the chaos. The three kings trained him for 100 years, and they have tried all their tricks to prevent Lee Irun from becoming a vessel, but in the end, they failed. Irun has to become a chaos vessel in order to leave this place. As he is about to leave, the Sliver King asked Lee Irun from his name. Hearing this, he laughs and says that if he is seriously asking this after over 100 years, "Ha ha ha, I must have grown too accustomed to having you around. I was once called a heartless ghost without blood or tears. Yet even I seem to have developed some attachment." Hearing such touching words, Lee Irun tells the Silver King his name, and he willing accepts to become the vessel. As he accepts to become a vessel, chaos gets inside his body, and he feels immense pain. After the chaos fully settled in Irun's body, he feels weak and sleepy. The king of Gehenna catches him from falling. The king gets curious about the health of Lee Irun. Lee Irun's face gets pale, and his eyelids get darker. The Sliver King says that Irun's body is resisting the power of chaos, which is gnawing at his spirit. The king of Einhart tells that from now on, nightmares will plague him, and if he falls into those nightmares, chaos will awaken once more. Hearing this, Lee Irun gets up and starts to walk away from the kings and says that he expected this much, and that's why he tells the three kings to kill him now. The kings get shocked upon hearing this and asked Irun that if he had planned this from the very beginning. Lee Irun smiles and says that he should be able to get that much as after all he is the disciple of the three kings. Lee Irun plans to seal the chaos in his body and annihilate it completely. Destroy chaos entirely. "That is your goal, isn't it, Master?" Irun asked. The king of Einhart makes a gloomy face, asked Irun that if he knew this, then why did he plan to cooperate with them? Lee Irun says, "I was betrayed by everyone and left with nothing. I couldn't bring myself to trust anyone. But from you, masters, I felt warmth from others that I had long forgotten. Revenge doesn't matter to me anymore." I just wanted to repay the warmth you showed me, masters. Finally, please tell me your names. That is my last request. Hearing this, the master stands speechless and starts to tell their name one by one. I am Shin Yawul, the Silver King. I am Sehard von Domain, the King of Einhart. I am Bergena, the King of Gehenna. After hearing their name, Li Iroun smiles and says that he has no regrets now, and tells the Three King to take his life now. The King of Einhart slowly approaches to Li Iroun and put his hand on Iroun's shoulders and says that you will not die here. You are our disciple and our child. How could we possibly kill someone like you with our own hands? Li Iroun gets shocked to hear this. He asks them that if they don't kill him, their lifelong mission will be unaccomplished. Bergena goes to Li Iroun and says, the chaos within you. We will share its burden and seal it together. Since the chaos within you has been shaped by our teachings, our power can contain it. Afterward, the dimensional bindings will release and you will return to where you belong. Listening to it, Li Iroun asked what will happen to them. Will be sealed somewhere deep within the world. Iroun go back and never come looking for us. The kings said that and pushed Li Iroun to his world. Now back to the present, Li Iroun has pinned down Shin Hong. He knew that the power he gained from the Three Kings are formidable, but he never imagined that they will even be so powerful in their infant stage. Shin Hong is a high ranker with around 150 level, but Iroun only uses the Silver King's blood demon arts and easily defeated him. Iroun wonders how much powerful he will become when he recovers the other two kings' powers. If he has completely mastered the Three Kings' powers, he will never lose. Not even to the leader of the Volcano Guild, or the highest-ranking experts of the Silver Faction, and beyond that, the likes of Einhart, Gehenna, and even the apex of this world, One Hand. Shin Hong begs Li Iroun for his life and says that he had no choice but to betray him. Hearing this, Li Iroun removes his hand from Shin Hong. Shin Hong tells Iroun that they had to betray him so that they can save Iroun and themselves. You became the raid captain of Volcano while I endured daily agony. Was that supposed to be for me? Iroun asked. Saying this, Iroun is going to finish Shin Hong with his black ball. Shin Hong stops Iroun and tells him that he will tell him the whereabouts of the other teammates that betrayed him and will also help him in his revenge. Listening to this, Iroun gets angry and grabs Shin Hong's mouth and puts the ball in his mouth and kills him instantly. Li Iroun then puts on a jacket and starts to walk out of the cave. He comes in front of the other slaves. Seeing they understand that this man is the one that has killed all the black man and Kim Shin Hong. Sewing Iroun the other slaves starts to shake out of fear. Iroun makes a few black ball and aims at the slaves. Seeing this, the slaves starts to run, but they couldn't outrun the black balls. The balls hit the slaves. They slaves things that they will dies, so they breaks down completely and starts to cry. But after a while, they realize that the slave mark on them is broken. Everyone gets shocked and feels a bit relieved. Iroun raises his hand towards the ceiling and bursts the ceiling with his power. As the ceiling fans, the cave starts to collapse. Li Iroun tells them to run, or else they will be buried under the rubble. Hearing this, the slave starts to run, and Li Iroun jumps up through the hole in the ceiling. He stands at the peak of the mountain and looks at the forest and thinks that his initial goal was to destroy the world for his revenge. But after seeing the sacrifice of his masters, Iroun realizes what he must do. This world is filled with chaos, and Li Iroun decides to consume it all and make it his own. Cheong In Wu, leader of the Red Plum Raid from the Volcano Guild, heard the report regarding the incident of the Volcano Guild, but he didn't think it was true until he sees it for himself. Now he sees that a beggar without any prominent identity has turned their Volcano Guild into a mess. What about the interrogation of the captured slaves? He asks one of his subordinates. The subordinate replies that the people who have been in the incident have their memories erased, and the leader points out that even the slave marks were removed. The member of the Red Plum Raid replies that there were traces of someone distorting the magic circle from within. Cheong-in-woo figures out that the culprit must have been at least someone on the level masters. He asks whether there are any other traces. The member replies that there are no traces of a martial artist or player to be found, and it seems to be the work of Einhardt's magicians or Gehenna's demons. Cheong-in-woo concludes that it's probably Gehenna. Suddenly, another member of Red Plum hurriedly informs that the corpse of the corpse dragon has disappeared. Cheong-in-woo thinks that it's as he expected, because if it's Gehenna, they likely have plenty of ways to use the corpse dragon without purifying it. He orders to contact the headquarters to tell them to investigate every trace of Gehenna's activity on Earth over the past year to the last month. Then he comes across the corpse of Kim Shin-hong and asks, "What's this trash doing here?" His subordinate replies that Shin-hong came here to confirm the death of the slave Lee Iraun. Upon hearing the name Lee Iraun, he thinks that if it's Lee Iraun, the one who was on the verge of becoming a high ranker, if he hadn't touched that, his name would have been well known by now. Then he asks about Lee Iraun's corpse. The member replies that about a month ago, when the slave mark broke, Iraun entered the abyss. Cheong-in-woo concludes that then Iraun must be dead. His body wouldn't have been able to withstand the poison. He tells his subordinate to wrap up everything here so that they can hunt the remaining stragglers. The news of the Volcano Guild's corpse disposal site being attacked reached Dongdaemun District, Seoul. People are having a talk about it. Some rumors have also spread that it's the doing of Gehenna. Iraun is also there, but he has hidden himself. He thinks that it's no surprise that people are talking about the Volcano Guild being attacked, since it's one of the 3 great guilds in Korea. Iraun decides to bring the guild down soon, but for that to happen, he first needs to find Master Mu Wang's faction, because that's the most effective way to get stronger, and for someone like him, with no official status, this place is the only option to look for people. "What would you like, sir?" the bartender asks. While pretending to order, he speaks in code language. "A Kahlua milk, hold the milk. Make it strong and sweet with just ice." Meanwhile, the manager seems surprised. The bartender replies that it's not even in their recipe. The manager tells the worker to organize the inventory in the storage room, and he will take charge as of now. When do they even use this kind of ancient code? Did this guy just return from some gate 5 years later? The manager asks. Iraun replies that it is like more than 100 years to him. Iraun says that he would like to come to the main point, without any further delay since it's just the place for this. Jang Ho-seok, head of the black market Seoul branch, asks Iraun what he wants. Iraun replies that he wants to take a job. Any specific types? Jang Ho-seok questions. Iraun says that he is up for anything, but the location must be a D-rank gate or higher. Jang Ho-seok opens a drawer, while saying that he got just the right job for Iraun and tells him to slowly take his pick. Iraun notices that there's a kidnapper's job. Ho-seok says that kidnappers lure beginners into leveling up, trap them in a gate, and then demand ransom from their parents. The targets are children of rich families, so they can get a lot out of them. Moreover, the job fee is 200 million, with a 30% commission. Iraun smiles as he says that this is really a trashy job. This makes the manager quite angry as he moves his hand towards his gun. He points his gun towards Iraun because he thinks that Iraun is those types of idiots who don't want to take a job, but try to take this place down. But have you thought about this? What happens when those who depend on this place for jobs find their work cut off? Who do you think their anger will turn to? He asks fiercely. Iraun clears the misunderstanding by saying that it means he likes the job. So, he suggests that Ho-seok should tell the people behind to lower their killing intent. Ho-seok smiles as he sees that Iraun was able to notice the killing intent coming from his back. He says that now he can trust Iraun with the job. Lastly, Jang Ho-seok tells Iraun that he would be contacted very soon and offers him a drink because this place is a bar even if it's for appearance sake. Iraun says that it would be a problem. He angrily says that if he drinks that fall asleep in this place, everyone here will die, and he takes his leave. Ho-seok thinks that Iraun is a late bloomer with a middle school delusion complex, like so he will die soon enough at this rate. Later, at Dasan-dong, Namyangju City, D-rank gate players have gathered. Someone calls his brother Cheol-ho. Cheol-ho looks back and says that it's nice to see that Min-hong is here. He says by pointing that these are the players joining as pieces this time. They're like younger siblings to him, so they must get good care. "So how do you feel about your first field operation?" he asks. Min-hong replies that he is a little nervous. Cheol-ho tells Min-hong that there is no need to be nervous since their party members have been with him for over 3 years. So a D-rank gate is no big deal. Then he points at another group of people and introduces them as wanderers, and Iraun is one of them. Everyone gets scared once they hear the word wanderer. Cheol-ho reassures Min-hong by saying that these wanderers are martial artists who have been working with them for 3 years as well. Lee Iraun thinks that it's natural to feel nervous because wanderers are notorious for doing things no better than Gehenna's demons. Then he notices that there is someone who doesn't seem surprised at all, and it seems he has already found the person he is looking for. Lee Iraun and the team enter the D-rank gate, and after a whole day of fighting, they set their camps in the middle of the forest at night. Everyone is enjoying the new experience Min-hong gets free with the team leader Cheol-ho. Min-hong asked Cheol-ho, that will they be able to battle themselves tomorrow? Cheol-ho tells them not to worry as he has planned a safe route where they will be able to hunt low-rank monsters easily. Cheol-ho then tells Min-hong to get some rest, as tomorrow will be a big day for him. Min-hong trusts Cheol-ho and gets to sleep inside his tent. As Min-hong leaves, Cheol-ho and his subordinate gives a sinister smile. Iraun is sitting alone beside the bona fide. The lady in the red cape named Yunha approaches him and asks to sit beside him. Iraun knocks his head, and Yunha sits next to him. As she sits, she asks Iraun about his martial arts level. Iraun tells her that it's rude to ask for other martial arts level. Yunha says that she don't know that, as she is a newbie player. She then asked Iraun for his name. Iraun gives a scary look that scares the lady. After a while, Iraun tells her his name. Hearing the name, the lady thinks that this name seems familiar to her. At that time, a blonde lady comes and tells Yunha to go and take some rest, as it's her time to keep watch. Yunha gets up, and while going, she tells Iraun goodbye and tells him that she enjoyed talking to him, even if it was for a short while. After talking to Iraun, Yunha don't think that Iraun is a bad person, but for some reason, she feels an ominous vibe from him. The scene change, and we can see in the next morning the party strats their hunting. Cheol-ho and his team kills almost all the monsters. A team member tells Cheol-ho to start to act as the gate will be closed soon. Cheol-ho tells Min-hong and his party to leave now, or else they will not be able to leave the gate until they kills the boss monster. Min-hong doesn't want to leave. He begs Cheol-ho that he would come with them to hunt the boss. Cheol-ho tells Min-hong that he is concerned that he might get hurt. Min-hong still don't want to leave and tells Cheol-ho that he is a player now, and if he just run away from challenges, he will never be a strong player. Cheol-ho asked for the last time that if Min-hong is really willing to come with them. Min-hong says yes. Hearing this, Cheol-ho gives a smile as he has hooked up the prey. Cheol-ho praises Min-hong for his spirit and tells him to finish the orges that were rushing towards them. Min-hong gives a smile seeing the orges and says that he was waiting for this. Min-hong, Yunha, and the others rush towards the orges and attacks them. Cheol-ho and his subordinate smiles looking at each other. In the meantime, the gate closes, and more orges comes. Min-hong is getting pushed back and he falls on the ground. The orges are much stronger than Min-hong has thought. Min-hong is utterly defendless in front of orges. He shouts Cheol-ho for help. But Cheol-ho says that the situation is quite chaotic, so he can't come for help. The Orges attacks Min Hong. As he has nothing to defend, Min Hong takes a scroll from his pocket, and he tears the scroll in front to the Orge. As he tears the scroll, a huge flame comes and engulfs the Orge, and kills it instantly. After the Orge is dead, Cheol-ho comes rushing to Min Hong and asks if he is all right. He also says sorry to Min Hong for not coming to his rescue. Min Hong tells him not to worry, as he had this high-tier fire magic scroll that his dad gave him to use in dangerous situation. Min Hong Alos says that that scroll was the only one he had. Cheol-ho smiles and asked him if he has any other items like this. Min Hong says that he don't have any, as this high-tier scrolls are very expensive. Cheol-ho takes out a scroll and puts it in front of Min Hong and says that it's a relief that he has no other items. After that, Cheol-ho shouts bind and chains comes out from the scroll and wraps around Min Hong's body. Min Hong falls on the ground confused. He asked Cheol-ho that what is the meaning of this. In the meantime, the other subordinates of Cheol-ho also binds the rest of Min Hong's teammates. Cheol-ho and his subordinates gives a devil's smile and says thanks to Min Hong for falling to their trick. Min Hong seems nervous in a shaky voice. He tells Cheol-ho to stop joking around and untie him already. Cheol-ho slaps Min Hong and gives a death glare and says that if he really thinks that this is all a joke. Cheol-ho then pulls out his sword and places it on Min Hong's neck and says that to make him believe it's not a joke, he will start with cutting off one of his ears. As Cheol-ho is about to swing his sword, Yunha unwinds her binding and starts to slash Cheol-ho's subordinates. As soon as Cheol-ho noticed Yunha's sword has reached him, Cheol-ho blocks the attack and asked Yunha that how did he gets out from her binding. Yunha smiles and uses sword aura to push back Cheol-ho. The sword aura starts cut Cheol-ho's sword. Seeing this, Cheol-ho steps back and swings Yunha's sword away. Seeing Yunha using sword aura, Cheol-ho gets that she is a martial artist, and that's why the magic binding didn't work on her. Cheol-ho is a bit confused, as when he used his information search skill, it showed that Yunha is a player. Yunha also asked Cheol-ho that he also don't look like a second-rate D-rank player. Seeing Cheol-ho getting pushed back, the other martial artist that Cheol-ho hired steps up and tells Cheol-ho to back off and he will deal with her. The martial artist walks towards Yunha and says that judging by her sword aura, it seems like that she is at the pinnacle just like him. Yunha is now at a disadvantageous situation as she has been surrounded by the other team members of Cheol-ho and a martial artist who is at her level. Yunha seems nervous. As she stands still, the martial artist makes the first move. Yunha blocks it. She is getting pushed back by the martial artist's continuous attacks. Yunha gets a chance and starts to attack, but the martial artist either blocks or dodges them. The C-rank player also joins the fight and attacks her. She notices it and quickly falls back to create a distance between them. Cheol-ho then orders Iron to catch the lady. Iron slowly starts to walk towards Yunha. Yunha sees Iron coming. She faces Iron and looks at his eyes. As she looks in Iron's eyes, she feels intimidating and wonders that is the true identity of Iron. The scene changes, and we can see a flashback of Iron's training period. The Silver King tells Iron that he is the master of the divine demon cult. Iron says, what is this divine demon cult, as he has only heard about the demon cult. The Silver King tells him that the roots of the demon cult lies in the divine demon cult. Iron tells his master that demon cult is the sworn enemy of all the factions and they are known for disrupting and overthrowing the world. Hearing this, Silver King gets angry and asks Iron if he sees him as a troublemaker. Iron says he didn't mean that. The Silver King tells Iron that as he left the world, the martial world spread this propaganda and however they passed. He also tells Iron that the members of the demon cult are living pitiful lives. He requests Iron to take care of them as he returns back. Back to the present, as Iron walks towards Yunha, He gets that she is using demonic cultivation. When Iroun was a slave, he heard from his fellow slaves that the remnants of demon cult are found in the black market. They save kidnapped people and they recruit them in their cult. Li Iroun didn't think that he would find the demon cult members so easily. Seeing Iroun standing still, the martial artist tells him to make a move. Iroun tells him to shut up, and this shocks everyone. The martial artist asked Cheol-ho that what's up with this guy. Cheol-ho says that he personally don't know him. He just hired him from the black market to clean up things if it went south. So it doesn't matter if I kill him. The martial artist says this and attack Iroun. As he attacks, he gets shocked to see that his sword is broken by Iroun. Iroun uses his black balls and breaks the sword. The martial artist is a bit scared to see that a sword imbued with Awar is broken so easily. He is nervous as he can't figure the level of Iroun. He thinks that Iroun has passed the transcendent level. Seeing this, the other C-rank player steps up and decides to attack together. Iroun also decides to kill them all. He shots his black ball at them. The martial artist gets the deathliness of the attack and tries to stop others, but it was too late. The black ball hits them and kills them instantly. Only Cheol-ho is alive. He is scared and begs to stop. But before Iroun makes his move, Yunha rushes and sliced the neck of Cheol-ho. Seeing this, Iroun asked Yunha if she is willing to attack him now. Yunha puts her sword back in her sheath and says that she won't charge at him knowing that she will die, surely. Yunha tells Irun that there must be a goal behind his actions, and she is willing to help him in his goal, and for that she wants Irun to spare her life. Irun asked, what if he is after her life? If my life was what you wanted, you would have taken it already, Yunha says. Irun tells her that she is sharp. As they are talking, a huge red orge comes rushing. Irun gets that this is the boss of the gate. Irun tells Yunha that if she wants to help him, she has to first take down this monster, then bring them out of this gate. Yunha obeys the order and charges to the enormous orge. She eventually kills it, and they all come out of the gate safely. Min Hong and his team feels relief, and at the same time they cursed Cheol-ho. As they see Yunha, they bows down and thanks her for saving their lives. Min Hong then asked her that why did she hide her martial artist identity and join Thier party as a player. Yunha replies him that the man in black suit will explain them everything. The man tells Min Hong to follow him and tells him that as they drop them, he will explain everything on the way. Now as everyone is gone, Irun and Yunha is left alone. She asked Irun that how can she help him. Irun then asked Yunha that from where she belongs, is it Heavenly Sect or Blood Sect? Hearing this name, Yunha gets shocked, and in a shaky voice, she asked Irun what he means. Aren't you a demon cult member? Don't worry, I have no intention of reporting you to the Martial Alliance, Irun says this. Hearing this, her expression changed, and she gave an angry look and asked Irun if he was part of the cult. Your expression suddenly changed. If I were a cult member, does that mean you'd be allowed to act that way toward me? Irun says. Yunha tells him not to divert the question and just answer what she asked. Irun tells her to answer first, as he was the one who asked the question first. As Irun says, this 6 black-suited man appears and surrounded him and placed swords around his neck. Seeing this, Irun gets angry and starts to radiate his awar and tells them that this is the last chance for them to answer. Irun emits a larger amount of aura, which is putting a pressure on the black-suited man. The man wonders that how can a person have such a monstrous aura? Seeing the situation, Yunha tells Irun that they belongs to the blood cult. She then orders her men to pull away their swords, and Irun is her benefactor. The men tries to convince her to kill him as he knows about their existence. Yunha ignores then and tells them that if this man decides to kill them, he would have finished them in the blink of an eye. The men then removes their swords. Yunha then tells Irun that as she answers his question, Now it's his turn to answer hers. Is he truly a member of the cult? Iran removes his awar and tells her to take his answer as a yes for now. Yuna didn't integrate him further, and she asked him about his goal that she is supposed to help. As Iran stands silent, Yuna offers Iran to get in her car and they will talk as they go. Iran and Yuna gets in the car, and as she sits, she removes her rep cape and stars to remove the mask that she was wearing. As she takes out the mask, Lee Iran stares at her, and he gets that it's an Infi mask. He also compliments her, saying that she is beautiful. Yunha thanks him and also asked if this is his real face and if his real name is Lee Iran. Iran tells her that his face has slightly changed, but his name is real. Lee Iran then tells Yunha that Minhong's party doesn't seem to know her identity, and it's obviously a lie that she is taking them back home. Considering she is wearing an Infi mask worth hundreds of millions and riding this limousine, money doesn't seem to be an issue. Then, she must be recruiting followers. Yuna tells that his guess is correct. But their original plan was for her to get to know them and recruit them. But because of Kim Cheol-ho, things became more extreme. Lee Iran then says, if they're the children of Nouveau Riche, the tribute must be enormous. He asked her if this is how they have made money so far. Yuna replies, saying that they receive tributes, but they don't demand unreasonable amounts like the association, and what the other party ultimately want is a guild, and they are helping them establish a guild as a condition of joining the church, so it's not a bad deal for them either. Lee Iran thinks that this a good thing as player are desperate for a guild as they can't level up without joining one. Yunha then asked Iran that what was the martial art that he used in front of the gate. Iran tells her that it's a bit aggressive to ask for the martial arts right away. Yuna asked him to at least say that, as she has already told him about the secrets of the cult. Lee Iran tells her that he can't use any martial arts right now. Then you shattered the head of a peak martial artist, but you can't use martial arts? Yuna says this out loud as she was shocked to hear that Lee Iran is unable to use martial arts. Lee Iran tells her that the technique that he used it's similar to shooting bullet skill, and does she counts that as martial arts? Lee Iran also asked her that what they are doing in the black market. A, you mean the special mission. We accept missions here to help our followers gain experience, Yuna says. Iran asked if they do things like kidnapping or murder. Yuna gets a bit irritated and tells Iran not to compare her cult with those trash. Their cult hunts the red players and notorious wanderers. Hearing this, Lee Iran feels relief as they are not bad person, as his master told him. In his eyes, he thinks that Manhwa sect is the real evil one. Yuna hesitates a bit and asked Iran if he is the companion killer Lee Iran. Hearing this, Lee Iran's faces turns scarier, and he exhibits a tremendous amount of aura. Under the pressure of aura, Yunha is unable to breathe properly. Yunha is scared, and she starts to sweat. She feels like that her soul is being pierced by Iran's gaze. After a while, Iran clams down and stops his awar. Yuna starts breathe heavily and feels relieved. She gets that. That was a wearing for her. At that time, the car stops and Black Suit Man opens the gate. Lee Iran leans to get out and tells the man to guide him. As he gets out, he sees a huge building. This is Kangha Group's building. The Kangha Group is a giant corporation, led by S-rank ranker chairman Kang Han Cheol, that is exerting considerable influence in Korea and all across Asia. As Irun is staring at the building, Yuna asked him if he don't want to enter. Irun tells her that even he don't want to enter, they will not leave him alone. Yuna butters him, saying that nothing of that will happen. She will follow his will. Irun tells her that she is just saying this, but as he gets out, they will follow him to the ends of the earth, and that will make them the second group other than the Mount Hua that will be chasing him. Hearing this, Yunha gets a feeling that he really is the companion killer Lee Irun. As they are taking Kang Han Cheol, charges towards Irun shouting that you are the one who threatened the Miss Han Cheol, uses his aura and attacks Irun. Yuna tries to stop, but it was too late. Han Cheol punched, but Iroun stops it with his hand and asked if this is how the cult treats their benefactor. After that, the misunderstanding clears and Han Cheol invites Iroun to the building and offers him to lunch with them. The three of them sits down and variety of dishes are placed in the table. Han Cheol tells Iroun to eat until he is filled. Iroun stares at the food. While taking a bite, Han Cheol tells him to eat as there is no poison in them. Iroun eats the food and says that even if it was poisoned, it wouldn't work on him. In this short amount of time, Han Cheol gathers some info about Iroun. So far, he gathered that Iroun is a companion killer named Li Iroun. He was supposedly enslaved by the Mount Hua Guild and reported dead recently. But his appearance is entirely different from what was reported. When Han Cheol's punched, was stopped by Iroun. Han Cheol feels that his energy was clearly internal power, not a player strength. Han Cheol guessed that Iroun's internal power wouldn't be greater than his, but he can't figure out why Iroun is so relaxed. Han Cheol tells Iroun that he heard that Yunha has received his help, and in exchange, Yunha promised to grant one of his wish. Han Cheol tells Iroun to tell him his wish, and he will complete that. But he puts a condition that Iroun has to join the cult. Han Cheol also asked Iroun to tell him that how did he know so much about the cult. Han Cheol also provoked him a bit, saying that he didn't heard that Li Iroun, the companion killer, was in a cult. Hearing this Iroun, he angry and gives a look and says to Han Cheol that he has already done a background check on him. Han Cheol also gives a serious look and tells him that he can't let somebody enter in their base without doing a background check. The tension in the room rises, and Lady Yuna gets that very well. Han Cheol then asked Iroun if has heard about the cult when he was working in the monster disposal area of the Mount Hua sect. Iroun replies that his answer is close. Han Cheol again asked Iroun that if he is from the divine cult or the blood cult. Right now, I am with blood cult, Iroun said. Han Cheol tells him to explain that what does he mean by right now. Iroun answers that he will explain him later. Han Cheol smiles and says that he will immediately make him an official member of the cult. Iroun directly denies to serve under him. Han Cheol asked what he is saying. A wolf can never serve under a dog. Rather, you should serve under me, Li Iroun says. Han Cheol shakes in anger and says Iroun is incredibly arrogant. He then starts to radiate his flame like aura and asked if he understands what he just said. Of course, Li Iroun says. Yunha gets up and tries to stop Iroun, but Iroun ignores her and tells Han Cheol to hand over the position of blood demon. The anger level of Han Cheol gets beyond his tolerance limit, and he gets up and punches the table. He is furious and shouts at Li Iroun, saying that he has crossed the line. Yunha tells her grandfather to stop, but it was of no use. Han Cheol tells her to step back and says that there is no holding back in punishment when someone talks about the blood demon. Iroun is on our level below Han Cheol, and there is also a disadvantage that his body can't use any martial arts. Han Cheol gives a fair chance to Iroun and asked if he needs of a weapon he will give him. Iroun tells him that he can't use a weapon as it will cause a huge trouble. Han Cheol says his arrogance knows no bound. He also asked Iroun why he isn't taking any fighting stance as he is going to face him. Iroun tells him that he also can't use any sort of martial arts. Listening, this Han Cheol gets mad and his awar bursts out. The glass breaks due to the effect of the aura. Han Cheol asked if he is mocking him. Iroun says he is damn serious. Well, since there's nothing you need to prepare, come at me. Out of consideration for the favor you did for the young lady, I'll give you 3 seconds. Han Cheol says this to Iroun. Li Iroun provokes Han Cheol, saying that was the blood always this honorable. Han Cheol is boiling in anger. He says that he is giving him chance because they are treating him as a guest who needs to be dealt with, rather than an enemy. Lady Yunha tries to stop Han Cheol. As she sees that there is no way to stop Han Cheol, she tries to convince Iroun to tell sorry. Han Cheol shouts at her and asked that who is this Iran that she is going so far for him. Lady Yunha also doesn't know the reason for this, but her instinct says that Iran is the true blood demon. The reason for her instincts is because she is the priestess of the demon cult. A priestess is the person that serves the blood demon, the master of the blood sect, the oracle. Han Cheol attacks Iran. The impact was so powerful that all the glass of that floor breaks. Yunha is also pushed back due to the impact. After a while, Han Cheol's flame starts reduce, which shocked them both. Looking closely, they can see that the flames are not disappearing. Li Yiran stops Han Cheol's punch with a black-red liquidy substance, and he is the one who is sucking the flames of Han Cheol. Yiran gathers the flame around his hand and starts to control them freely. Han Cheol sees to recognize this technique. Yiran then asks them that if they have understand now that this is the blood demon art. The both of them immediately kneels down and praises the blood demon. Yiran then declares him as their master, the blood demon. Upon seeing the blood demon art, both Yunha and her grandfather kneel down before Yiran. They instinctively knew that the man before them is the blood demon, but at the same time, some thoughts come over in the chairman's mind. How can a player know the blood demon arts? He wonders. So can you hand over the position of blood demon now? Li Yiran asks again, but he sees that he isn't receiving an answer. Han Cheol explains that he wasn't able to give an answer because the current blood demon already rules the blood sect. Then Yiran wants to know why the old man kneels to him just now, if there was already a blood demon who rules the blood sect. Han Cheol explains that it's because the current blood demon's blood demon art is a less complete form than Yiran's. He says that he doesn't know how Yiran mastered the blood demon art, but the blood demon art is proof of the blood demon's identity and the symbol of the blood sect. Then, Li Yiran laughs upon hearing this ridiculous thing. He says that now knows why the blood sect is in this state. Han Cheol doesn't seem to understand. Yiran says that it means that the person who is ruling the blood sect is a half-baked blood demon. He then uses his power to make something like big sharp needles to intimidate the chairman. He asks what position does the chairman hold in the blood sect. Han Cheol replies while sweating that he holds the position of the left protector. Yiran explains that the symbol of the blood demon is not the blood demon art, but the blood demon divine art. At that moment, Han Cheol realizes that Yiran is the real deal, the true blood demon. This time, they bow down their heads and give Yiran, the blood demon's grace, endless dark blessing. What's that? Yiran asks. Han Cheol says that it is a greeting dedicated to the blood demon, passed down in our blood sect. Yiran says that it's cheesy, so that they should stop doing that. So now, will you tell me about the current situation of the blood sect? He asks. By asking this, he is referring to things he should know to get rid of that half-baked demon. The chairman says that currently there are 6 elders in the blood sect, and there is the right protector and him, the left protector. However, the current elders will not easily accept the existence of a new blood demon. It has already been more than 10 years since the current blood demon ascended. Yiran questions, what will happen if he kills everyone who opposes that idea? Han Cheol says that just like he oversees investigations into external affairs and expanding power, each of the other elders have a role as well, so if Yiran keeps them alive, some might prove useful. Then he says that if he gets the command, he will personally meet the elders to gauge their intentions. Li Yiran commands him to do that. After Han Cheol's departure, Yunha again bows down her head and gives the blessing. Yiran shouts at her to stop it. At Namyangju, Kang Han Cheol's villa. In the morning, Yunha asks permission of the blood demon to enter. Yiran gives her permission. Upon entering, she greets the blood demon, which she regards as the morning greetings while being properly dressed. Iroun says that he doesn't like fuss first thing in the morning. Yunha says that it's her duty as the priestess serving the blood demon. Iroun tells her to go back to sleep. She also refuses to do that, while saying it is her duty to wake up before the blood demon does. Iroun then reveals that he can't sleep. He says that he is not joking. It's a fact that he literally can't sleep, so he doesn't need any morning greetings. Yunha says that then she would also follow the blood demon in sleepless training. Iroun gets a little angry. He commands her to stop doing that and tells her to act like she did at the D-rank gate. Moreover, he tells her to stop those weird formalities and that historical drama style is also forbidden. He suggests to her to just say, "Okay," or "I understand," simply like normal people. After this is settled, he asks whether there is any word from the left protector. Yunha replies that there isn't anything. Iroun says that it doesn't matter now because he already has a decided role to play. Yunha curiously asks what it is. Iroun replies that it is pretty much obvious that his role is to take down the half-baked demon. It's a world where the strong reign supreme. If he shows everyone that he is stronger than that half-baked blood demon, everything will be solved, and in order to that, he must train. He tells Yunha to lead the way to the training hall of this villa. Previously, when Iroun talked with the Silver King about learning the martial arts, the Silver King explains that what Iroun has learned has been readjusted to allow the three of them to fully use their power. In other words, their individual learnings now mesh seamlessly like gears in a machine. This means using abilities before gaining them or failing to completely acquire specific strengths hinders the use of subsequent powers, just like how forcing an incomplete gear to rotate leads to malfunction. So before Iroun completes the Blood Demon Divine Art, he cannot use any other weapons or arts. The King of Einhart suggests Iroun to experience that himself, to understand better, and gives him a sword. Iroun tries to swing it, but the pain he felt that day was immense and unbearable. He doesn't want to imagine that pain again. He would rather undergo complete body transformations 10 times than going through that pain. Thanks to the dragon's blood, he has reached the final stage of black blood, but it's still incomplete. It hasn't yet been fully absorbed, but the dragon's blood runs throughout his entire body. He discards all unnecessary vitality so that only pure strength remains, and thus his process of transformation begins. It's been a week since Iroun went to the training room. Yunha gets worried because she assumes that Iroun shouldn't be able to train the blood demon art in an empty training hall like that, but to her surprise, when Iroun gets out, he has finally entered the final stage of the blood demon divine art. As Iroun is eating his breakfast, Yunha gets astonished to see that it's only been a week, but the aura around Iroun has drastically changed. It has become more powerful. She recalls that the blood demon art is a technique that requires pure blood and a special sacrificial ritual to even begin training. How could he do it in an empty training room? She wonders. Iroun asks her whether she is going to eat or not. Yunha says that she will make breakfast better next time. Then, Iroun says he won't be guarded by those weaker than him. So he tells all of them to stop hiding and eat. Yunha gets shocked to know that Iroun can even sense the presence of the Shadow Blood Guard. Shadow Blood Guard is a group of protectors trained painstakingly by the chairman himself. They possess stealth skills on par with the most famous assassination group, the ghostly Soul Valley of Yun. Yunha thinks, how can a person be so unfazed? Inside the training room, Iroun can feel the true blood, and it feels pretty good. He has absorbed almost all of the dragon's blood. Now he decides to change the black blood part to true blood, refining the true blood flowing in his blood core to a higher purity. All he is lacking is time. To shorten that time, he first needs to take over the blood sect. While he is getting out, Yunha calls him saying that the meal is ready. Again, She has mixed all of the things she knows in one bowl. Iraun says that he told her previously that he will make it own meal, and one point to note is that there is too much chili paste. Yunha thought that the meal will taste even greater when more chili paste is added. She immediately kneels and bows down her head, saying she has committed a great sin and she will pay it with her life. He tells her not to do that. Suddenly he senses a presence and tells her that they have a guest knocking at their door. The guards tell the person that he cannot enter. "Do you not know who I am?" The third elder cold-blood blade, Handubak, asks. The guards reply that there is no way they would not know that third elder. Handubak questions that if they already know who he is, then why aren't they stepping aside? The guard says that it's an order from the left protector, and he commanded that no unauthorized personnel must ever step inside. The third elder swings his sword, which creates ice. He tells them to step aside, and he won't hold anyone accountable, or else this will be his last mercy. "What will you do?" he asks with an intimidating glaze. The guards unsheathed their swords while saying sorry. Immediately, the third elder comes forward without the guards' notice, but Eunha steps in to stop him. Handobak asks the miss why she is putting herself in danger. Eunha shouts at the third elder, telling him that he shouldn't do this. Without the permission of the left protector, Handobak says that the left protector is doing a treason by dividing the blood cult they have only just united. Knowing this, he says that he can't just stand by and watch that happen. "I, as a priestess, have chosen this blood demon. Do you still not trust me?" Yunha asks. The third elder says that he will trust her if she can explain how that player could learn the blood demon techniques. Handobak explains that there have always been imposters claiming to be the blood demon in the past. That person might be a spy from the divine faction. Even if he truly is the blood demon, there cannot be two suns under one heaven. If this continues, both you and the left protector will be charged with treason. So he is here to resolve this before it escalates further. He tells her to please step aside since he doesn't want to lose her or the left protector. Yunha informs him that her grandfather will not forgive the third elder. The third elder says that he is prepared for that. Even if it means becoming an enemy of the left protector. Even if it leads to his death, because this is his duty as his friend. He points her sword at Yunha and again tells her to step aside. As he is about to strike, Yunha's grandfather, the left protector, comes from behind. He is extremely angry, as he fiercely asks the third elder what the hell is going on. Here, Han Cheol expected that this might happen, but he never expected that they would be in a hurry. The third elder informs that the Mount Hua is on the move, which gets the chairman and Yunha by surprise. Han Do-baek mentions that the Mount Hua has found their traces. If you use the existence of a new blood demon to shake the sect in this situation, what do you think will happen? He asks. He answers his own question by starting the obvious fact that the left protector will be the first one discarded and fed to the enemy. The chairman says that the Mount Hua has no reason to be disloyal to the blood demon. In the counter to this, the third elder asks the left protector whether he has considered that the person he has brought and knows as the true blood demon might really be a spy. This question makes Han Cheol extremely furious. "What? Are you saying I failed to recognize the blood demon art?" he asks angrily. Han Do-baek replies, saying that Han Cheol might know that the heavenly demon sect has studied the blood demon arts for a long time. He doesn't know about the others, but the heavenly demon sect has every chance of mastering the blood demon art. The chairman tells the elder to stop. The third elder says that even if the person he brought is the true blood demon, nothing will change. He says that at a time like this, rather than causing division within the blood sect, the right path is to kill that person. Han Cheol clenches his fist, telling the elder that he has crossed the line here. The third elder states that he can't sit idle when a friend of his throws himself into fire and takes a fighting stand. The chairman tells the elder that he will cut off the elder's limbs and beg the blood demon for forgiveness. As they are about to strike each other, Heir jumps in and tells them to stop from behind. Upon seeing the blood demon, the left protector immediately stops his killing intent and greets him. The third elder looks back, while thinking that even he can't sense this person's presence. The chairman shouts at the elder, telling him to bow down and greet the true blood demon. While looking at Heir's hand, the elder realizes that he would have died without a doubt if Heir had aimed for his neck. Noticing the crimson hair, the red eyes, and the clear evidence of the blood demon art, he immediately greets the new blood demon. Heir, on the other hand, tells the left protector to stop this unnecessary prostrating, and since the blood sect is already falling apart, he wouldn't recommend cutting the limbs of its followers. Now he starts to talk with the third elder. "So you came to kill me? You'll spare me if I please you, and kill me if I don't?" he asks while giving a deadly glare. The third elder starts to sweat a lot, but gathering up all the courage, he starts to talk. He states that the blood sect currently serves a blood demon. The existence of a new blood demon will create great division within the blood sect, which is just now stabilizing after regrouping. Heir compliments the third elder by saying that he has spirit and an elder should have that kind of guts. "So, what do you think? Are you satisfied?" Heir asks. Handubak says that he needs proof. He creates a small blood ball, also known as blood orb, and asks whether this will be enough while sending the ball near the elder. Upon seeing it, the elder wonders how within such a small blood orb, such a full blood demon energy lies. He immediately bows down and greets the true blood demon. He unsheathed his sword. He says that he will cut off his right arm for disrespecting the true blood demon. As he is about to strike, the sword flies away since Heir used a small blood orb to strike the sword. Inside the villa, everyone is sitting on the ground except Heir, even though he told them to sit on the couch. Getting a closer look, the left protector felt it earlier, but now he is certain that by just over a week, that Heir has gotten way much stronger. "Have you perhaps reached the transcendent demon stage, blood demon?" Han Cheol asks. Heir simply replies by saying, "No, not yet." The left protector says that since Heir's progress is so rapid, he will soon reach the transcendent demon stage. The third elder speaks up, saying that, however, the current blood demon has already reached the transcendent demon stage. Furthermore, the current blood demon's closest aide, the first elder, is also a transcendent demon and among the remaining elders. None of them will turn to support a new blood demon anymore. Yunha says that there is only one way now. Since the blood demon's progress is faster than expected, Heir must quickly reach the transcendent demon stage and personally defeat the current blood demon. Then, no matter what, even the elders would have no choice but to accept the new blood demon. Heir replies that he doesn't know how much time it will take for him to get to the transcendent demon stage. For all he knows, he might not even become a transcendent demon. He also knows that the enemy won't wait for him. "Isn't this right, third elder?" he asks. Heir states that he knows his existence is already known to the blood sect. That's why the elder came rushing here to take him down. Suddenly, the left protector bangs his head to the ground, apologizing, saying that it's all his fault that he thought the fourth elder had a high chance of switching sides, so he contacted him. But he had already become the current blood demon's man. Heir replies that he understands, so the left protector should stop banging his head for something this trivial. He says that, well, since things have turned out this way, they should just go to get the blood demon. As the story proceeds, Heir decides to enter the Yuan's world through the Blood King Castle gate. It is said that, when you pass through the gate, you'll fall into an unknown land full of monsters, but pass through the dungeon, and it's a whole nother world. The world learnt of the dungeon's existence. When the gate breaks devastated civilization across the globe, humanity was saved by them. Though superhumans called players later appeared among Earth's people, they couldn't compare to the residents of the invaded worlds who had existed for countless ages and fought unknown beings. In the end, the world had to accept their interference. Yoon controlled the Asian regions, while Einhart dominated the Western territories. They divided the world and exerted their influence. In this way, Eun came to dominate most of Korea. The public enemy of all Yoon's forces, the Blood Sect, had thoroughly concealed the entrance to its sanctuary, hiding it from their watchful eyes. At present, Iraun with his party is in front of that gate. He asks Eun-ha whether there was a gate like this by the Bukhan River. She replies that she spruced things up a little since she thought the door leading to the Blood King Castle shouldn't be too ordinary. "Did you even intend to hide it?" Iraun asks. Eun-ha explains that the fact that Iraun came this far means he has broken through all the blood cult's magic traps and defenses. There's no need to hide it anymore. She can declare that aside from Irun, the blood demon, there are no otherworldly inhabitants who have come this far. She asks whether this is the first time of him entering the UN's world. Irun replies that he has come here once. He then commands her to open the door without further delay. Eun-ha, using her blood mana, opens the door of the Blood King Castle. Upon seeing the story state of the place, Iraun says that he heard that this place was falling, but he never imagined things would be this bad. Just how in the world did things get to this point? He asks. Eun-ha explains that it's a little-known fact. It's not something many people know, but Yoon's world is a fragment of a ruined world. For this world to survive, it needs sustenance, things like the magic stones that can be harvested from monsters or gate cores. The Blood Fortress is massive, even compared to other worlds. Iraun points out that because of this it requires more sustenance. Eun-ha says that's why they've been so insistent on recruiting new members. Even so, isn't the River Guild a considerably large organization? Why weren't they more proactive about gathering magic stones? Iraun questions. The Left Protector answers, saying that it was to avoid drawing attention to themselves. In the current state, if a guild like Volcano or River were to find out the location of Blood King Castle, their future will be at risk. Eun-ha says that what her grandfather has said is true, but it was also because the elders forbade the hunting of gate monsters. Iraun asks, what kind of nonsense is that? Eun-ha says that the elders said that the great blood demon disciples hunting monsters and the like was against their scripture. Since the third elder is present with them, he asks whether the third elder also supported that. Han Do-bak says that he has never supported such nonsense. He even formed his own guild called the Cold Tiger Clan on another floor to remain active. At that moment, the Blood Sword unit, the Blood Demon's personal guards, arrive. Captain of the Blood Sword Corps, Jung Chi-so-0 informs that they are here to escort the Left Protector and his party. Eun-ha unsheathes her sword asking whether they are here to escort Iraun or to arrest him. The captain says that he is just following the Blood Demon's commands. Do you think we will just give him up? The Left Protector questions angrily. The captain replies that they didn't come here to fight, but they are left with no choice but to fight. At that moment, Iraun speaks up saying that they should go because the Blood Demon's personal guards have come to take them personally. He walks in front telling them to follow him. At the throne room of the Blood Demon Palace, the Left Protector witnesses that the current throne, Blood Demon's aura, is far more imposing than before. Left Protector, I never expected treason from you. Should you be behaving like this as the Left Protector? The Right Protector asks. Han Chil confronts the Right Protector saying that he merely found the true Blood Demon. Everyone shouts at the Left Protector, saying that he has conducted such blasphemy. The current Blood Demon speaks up. He says that it's surprising and he can't believe that another blood demon truly exists besides him. The reaction of the people present in the room suddenly changes with this single sentence, forcing them to think whether there is another true blood demon. The blood demon says that it's perfect. Since his progress toward becoming blood, God has slowed. He was contemplating how to find new resources, but now he has one. By absorbing Iraun's power, he can attain blood god status. What a joke. Iraun speaks. He tells the blood demon to cut the nonsense and invites him to come down to fight. He says that he will show the half-baked blood demon how pathetic he is. The fake blood demon gets enraged. The elders speak up, saying that they will take care of this mess. The blood demon grants them permission to do so. The left protector notices that the first elder isn't stepping in to attack because he's a martial artist to the bone who always hated group attacks and dirty tricks, but at the same time the power difference is too great due to all the elders ganging up. Taking the elders out, one by one, would have been ideal, so why would Iraun put himself in such a situation? Han Cheol wonders. Iraun, while seeing Yunha shaking, tells her not to worry, since he won't die here. Are you saying you're immortal? Yunha asks. Iraun answers saying not really, but he can't lose to these guys. If he dies, the world will end. Well, he doesn't plan to end the world before he finds his masters. Yunha is getting confused, so she asks what he meant by it. Irun says that he has thought about it countless times for 100 years. What should he do when he returns? The conclusion that he has come to is that surely revenge is important, but he has decided to repay the kindness of his masters. He will find everything his masters left in this world and restore them, and he will put everything under his feet so no one can take it away from him. He thinks that he should restore the things they cherished so they won't be blinded by revenge and destroy the world, and he intends to honor that. Then, he tells the elders to come at him, calling them half-wits. An elder immediately uses the ear blood poison, and the left protector shouts at Irun, telling him to dodge that. Upon seeing the left protector heading towards the poison unconsciously, the third elder grabs the protector to give him back to his senses. Then, the elder also looks for Iraun and notices that it's already too late and realizes that he can't help Iraun. But at the very least, he should defend this place, protecting the lady and Han Cheol. The elder thinks that the blood poison is a thing that even the blood demon avoids because it's deadly to the core. So, he predicts that Iraun's death is guaranteed. He looks back at the blood demon, seeing whether the blood is impressed by his actions or not. He smiles like a lunatic, thinking that the position of the left protector is his now. Han Cheol gets on his knees, due to extreme shock, thinking that it is all over now. Yunha tells the left protector that she knows that Iraun, whom they consider the true blood demon, is safe. How can you be so certain? Miss, Han Cheol asks. Yunha states that ear blood poison is deadly, even to masters of demonic arts. Furthermore, the blood demon's achievements are less than theirs. Iraun is also vastly outnumbered. Even so, her instinct keeps telling her to follow him, that their blood demon will save the blood sect. After hearing this fantastic speech from our priestess, the true blood demon comes out, from the fog of blood poison, asking whether it's the full extent of their powers. He states that now he sees the reason why the blood sect fell to such ruins, as they were cooped up in the Blood King castle without a care about the outside world. That's their problem. He says that there are tons of people like them out there, unprogressive fools who do not know what martial artists outside are like. Furthermore, he blames these elders for just barely being at the level of a large guild. Although the left protector and the priestess told them about the outside world, they just ignored them. The elders decide to attack all at once. At that moment, Iraun says that the blood demon is revered as a god because he is absolute to the blood sect, while making the elders immovable. Iroun says that it's good to see that the blood arts were properly passed down all these years since he can control them. He spares the left protector, but the first and sixth elders and the shadow blood guards meet their demise at Iroun's hand. He says that it's strange if the pretend blood demon actually learned the blood arts, his head should be under the blood demon's influence. So, why is your head still on your shoulders? Fake blood demon? Iroun asks. Iroun asks the blood demon whether he has mixed the martial arts. The blood demon gets extremely furious as he shouts at Iroun, calling him a bastard. He uses the blood demon sword technique, third form, along with the blood dragon slash. On the contrary, Iroun is standing still as if nothing has happened. The blood demon says that he will tear Iroun apart and turn him into a mere puddle of blood. What utter nonsense! Iroun speaks up, creating a shield which protects him from the massive attack. He says that his master never created something like the blood demon sword technique. What kind of nonsense are you blabbering about? The blood demon asks. Iroun explains that his master never developed a sword technique to accompany the blood demon art in the first place. The blood demon seems confused. He assumes that Iroun is talking about the founder of the blood sect, who died thousands of years ago, and thinks that it's absurd to even think about it. Iroun says that someone must have developed and passed down this blood sword technique. It enrages the blood demon as he immediately goes to attack with his sword, but to his surprise, his blood demon sword technique is being blocked with just a tiny blood barrier. He notices Iroun's hidden weapon and immediately goes backwards. He clenches his teeth as he sees that he is being attacked with blood needles created with the blood demon energy. He finds it unbelievable to think that the blood demon art can be manipulated like this because no matter how legendary the blood demon art is, according to him, it's still just a cultivation technique. Moreover, these needles are absorbing his blood and disrupting his inner power. At that moment, he deflects the blood needles using his technique while shouting that these are all illusions and cheap tricks since Ha has never heard of them. He calls himself the true blood demon and uses the blood demon sword technique's sixth form, along with the attack of Blood Dragon's rampage. Iroun says that he will also play along in the same way as he creates a small blood dragon. Is that worm truly your best effort? The blood demon asks while laughing, calling Iroun utterly pathetic as his dragon goes to devour the small dragon. As their powers collide, a huge impact happens, and after some moment, the blood demon gets on his knees, coughing blood. He felt it clearly when their powers collided, that his opponent's power level is below that him. So why on earth is he the one on his knees? He wonders. You're the youngest disciple of the blood demon sect, aren't you? So the sect's troublemaker suddenly mastered the blood demon art and became a promising young leader? Huh? Iroun asks the blood demon. He tells the fake blood demon that it's laughable that anyone would believe that and elevate him to the position of sect leader. Moreover, this fake blood demon haven't even mastered the blood demon skill. Iroun guesses that this half-baked blood demon is from the Cheon family, and by judging his countenance, Iroun is sure that his evaluation is right. He says that it's good since he has many questions, so he won't kill the blood demon. The fake blood demon feels humiliated and transforms due to his rage. Yunha gets shocked, and she says that the blood demon has entered the form of the blood demon god. Iroun states that it's impossible for him to become the blood demon god. On the contrary, the fake blood demon is using a reverse blood technique as a last resort. The blood demon says that he will absorb Iroun and become the blood demon god. Iroun tells him to try if he can. The blood demon goes to attack, but Iroun blocks it, saying that his attacks are way too predictable because trying to crush an opponent with greater internal energy is a common tactic. The blood demon shouts, telling Iroun not to get so cocky because his internal energy surpasses 2 hands, and he starts using blood absorption to absorb Iroun's powers. The half-baked blood demon thinks that, for over 20 years, he has been worshipped as the blood demon, absorbing the blood of tens of thousands. He doesn't know how Iroun nullified all his attacks, but he predicts that Iroun won't be able to withstand his internal power amplified by reverse blood. He laughs, wondering that it's his perfect victory. You won't be able to withstand my internal power amplified by reverse blood. You're thinking something like that, aren't you? Iroun asks. The blood demon gets shocked to even think about how can a person talk so calmly during an internal energy struggle that demands full concentration. Iroun explains that in a typical internal energy struggle, it's about burning a person's inner strength to suppress his opponent, and the amount of energy matters most. But with blood demon absorption, the amount doesn't matter. Because Iroun absorbs, but he doesn't burn, and the key to it is control. While realizing a tremendous amount of mana, he says that he will show him how it is done. Iroun starts to use blood absorption, and it immediately drains the blood demon's internal energy. In fact, it was completely absorbed by Iroun. Meanwhile, the fake blood demon enters Iroun's consciousness and meets an entity. In a matter of seconds, he falls down as he realizes that it is the great blood demon. Iroun notices that the blood he absorbed is full of impurities, so he starts to discard what's useless and takes what he needs. Lastly, he gathers the power in his dantian. He reaches the pinnacle of true blood, hence the completion of the blood demon arts. Both Yunha and the chairman are shocked to witness the transformation in front of their eyes. The left protector thinks that he took a gamble, and it was merely a gamble by supporting the other side. The current blood sect needed to change. Even with the advent of the blood demon, there was no future for the stagnant, rotting blood sect. That's why he sided with the other party. Even if defeat was certain, there was hope that the blood sect would awaken anew through his and their sacrifice. The person lying in front of him is Baek Subi-ok, the first in several generations to inherit and master the ultimate blood demon art. And yet, he was defeated without accomplishing anything. What's more, in his final moments, he acknowledged the new blood demon and fell. He firstly calls Yunha by Miss, then he changes it to Priestess. He asks her whether she anticipated this will happen. Yunha replies that the blood demon is a god to the blood sect, a god capable of miracles. Thus, she merely recognized the true blood demon. The elders look at Irun, and Iroun also looks at them, remembering the face of his master, who called them poor things. The first elder, who didn't fight and gang up on Iroun, moves forward. The left protector shouts at the first elder, telling him to stop. He can't fathom why the first elder will do such a thing. But to his surprise, the elder calls Iroun the blood demon and bows down his head. 10,000 years, blood demon. Long live the blood demon. They shout and repeat the same phrase again and again while bowing down. Iroun thinks that they are the same as him, the ashes that remain after the burning, just as he lost everything and dreamt of revenge. They must have barely lived on, longing for a new blood demon. He realizes that it's his duty as his master's disciple to repay them for their patience. Blood comes from Iroun's eyes and flows to his entire body as he transforms to show the people of the blood sect the true pinnacle of the blood demon. The left protector and the others get to see what they were yearning for decades to come, the true god of the blood sect. Iroun walks towards them and tells them to get up, and he hates this. The first elder says that it's what the laws says, so they have to do this. Irun then tells the priestess to explain that the law is. Yunha stands up and says that the words of the blood demon is the law, and Eve member must follow this. Hearing this, Iroun orders the elders to get up. The elders get it and abides by his orders. The fake blood demon is still alive. Seeing this, the third elder gets angry and takes out his sword to finish him. Heir stops him and tells to leave the old man alone as he is good as dead. Heir looks at the old man's face and feels sorry as the old man is completely broken. He is also annoyed as he can't get info from him about the divine faction. Stelder get nervous hearing this and asked if he means that this old man had connections with the Heaven faction. Heir tells them to watch. He then points out 2 of his fingers and pinched the acupuncture points of the old man. The elders are shocked. Afterwards, the old man's body starts to react and shake. The bones in the body starts to readjust. Seeing the process, the member of the cult get that it's the reverse dragon art. The old man's body turns black, and he is dead. The members are shocked as they, and even the previous blood demon, couldn't recognize this before. They feel shame for this. Heir looks at Han Cheol and says that it's the work of the Heaven faction, and this is a martial art that lets them change their body as they wish without getting caught. Hearing the description, Han Cheol gets that Heir is taking about the heavenly demon art. He asked Heir that how he knows about it. Heir taps his shoulder and tells him that they will talk about this later. Heir then orders the priestess to take him to the blood pool. Yunha takes Heir to the blood pool. As he enters, Heir feels an immense amount of energy. They arrived in front of the pool. Yunha tells him that this pool is made with the blood of all the members of the cult. And this is the place where the blood sect leader offers their blood and performs the blessing ceremony upon their enthronement. She then tells Irun to get dressed into the ceremonial dress and start the ritual. Irun tells her to skip that as he don't like this formalities. Irun then asked Yunha that what she thinks of a god. She smiles and replies that the blood demon who has manifested in front of her is the true god. Did you think I was expecting an answer like that? What do regular people consider to be a god? That's what I'm asking. What does it take to be a god? Heir says. Yunha says, if he wants the definition of God, a god is a transcendent being who grants human wishes and allows them to lead glorious lives. Heir says that she is absolutely right. But why he is called a god? He only busted the elder's head as a punishment. But does only giving punishment make you a god? Heir asked. Yunha tells him that the fact that he can control blood arts is more than enough to make him a god. Heir walks closer to the pool and tells Yunha that she don't understand, as nobody ever show her that. Heir then puts a blood of his blood in the pool and tells Yunha to watch closely that why he is called God. As the blood touches the blood in the pool, the whole place starts to shake. Heir closes his eyes and he can feel everyone in this blood citadel. As he opens his eyes, a twister starts in the pool. Yunha is pushed back, and she says that she has never seen this before. Heir says that this is a new technique that doesn't exist during Master Mu Wang's period. Over the time, Mu Wang updates the arts, and he taught Heir the latest arts. Mu Wang hears from Mao that the demon arts of his resembles a spell used by a destroyed race of Gehenna. So with some help from Mao, he updates the arts. He tells Irun to use this art, and he will see. Its amazing effects. The twister gets bigger. The new blood demon arts are both martial arts and a spell. The blood technique is the foundation that supports the blood demon art. Heir raises his hand and controls the twister. He tells Yunha that as he is a god, he should also give blessings, and that's what he is about to do. Heir closes his palm and the twister explodes. The blood falls like rain. Yunha and Heir is covered in blood. Yunha is shocked. She asked Heir that what is happening. As she says this, she falls on her knees and she feels that immense energy is surging through her body. Heir tells her not to worry, as everything will be better after they wake up from a small nap. Yunha then falls on the ground and sleeps. The scenario of outside is also same. Everyone fall asleep. After a while, everyone wakes up and they have gotten younger. The elders bow their head in front of Heir to praise him for this blessing. Everyone gets younger and physically stronger. They also got the red eyes, which is the symbol of the blood cult. Heir then orders the third elder to cut his finger, as show his blood. The elder does so. After seeing his blood, the elder and the others get shocked. The red blood of the third elder has turned purple. Iroun tells them that it's called the purple blood. He asks the elder if he knows anything about this. Herd elder replies that he doesn't know about the purple blood, but after he wake up, he feels that he has twice the amount of internal energy he had before. Iroun says that their power gain will depend on the level they had before. And like him, the left protector, Han Cheol, and the first elder is also at the stage of purple blood. But the priestess is in the stage of black blood, which is the next stage of purple blood. Hearing this, Yunha gets shocked. She asks that the elders had a high martial arts achievements than her, so why she is at a higher level than them. Iroun says that the reason behind this could be connected to the fact that she is a priestess, and her strength is directly influenced by him. Iroun also says that this is a new ability of the blood demon divine art. And from now on, those who learn the blood arts and join the blood cult will gain power, but become bound to him in return. After that, Iroun gets up and says that he wants to see how the other members of the cult are doing. Han Cheol tells him to follow him as he know a place with a great view. Yoren and the elders go to the top of the building. Iroun looks at all the members and see that they are full of energy. Even the sick ones are fully healed. Iroun tells Han Cheol that they still have the problem with money. They don't have enough money to sustain them. The elders lowers their head and apologize to Iroun and says that it's their fault that the cult is in so bad shape. Iroun tells them that it's not their fault, it's the work of the previous blood demon and the dead elders. Iroun gets mad thinking about them. He then asked Han Cheol that if it is truth that they can't hold out even until the next month, that is true. We've already sold off even the shares in Ganga Group. The guild is on the brink of disbandment. We had plans to clear a few gates, but then the blood demon appeared. Han Cheol says this. Hearing this, Iroun looks at the sky and questioned his master that why did he leave him with this people. Han Cheol then tells Iroun that the most urgent issue is the lack of elders. The first elder was in charge of the Blood Sword Palace, the second elder, the Blood Gold Palace. Each palace had its role, and each elder was its leader. But with all the elders dead, there's no one left to fulfill those roles. Iroun tells him to just promote the deputy palace leaders, what used to work under the elders. Han Cheol tells Iroun that the deputy leaders also follow the path of the dead elders, and this means that they should be executed as they disobeyed the true blood demon. Iroun orders them not to execute them as it will reduce the size of their own force. Han Cheol tries to explain Iroun that it is good to uproot the seeds of rebellion early. Iroun tells the elders that they won't be able to stand in front of him, so he tells them to do as he orders. The left guardian bows and says that he understands. Iroun then tells the left guardian to become the cult leader. Han Cheol is so shocked that he left his mouth quite open. Iroun asked what the matter. Han Cheol asked how can he be the cult leader. Iroun says, the cult leader isn't the blood demon. It's just that until now, no one capable of properly fulfilling the blood demon's role had appeared. It's only natural to separate the roles of God and leader. Even though Ganga Group is falling apart, it was a place doomed to fail anyway. The left guardian has managed to sustain Ganga Group for decades, and above all cares deeply for the blood cult, doesn't he? You understand both the outside world and the Blood King's castle? Well, it's only right that you become the cult leader. The other two elders agrees with Iroun. Han Cheol don't have another way, so he agrees to be the cult leader. He bows down in front of Iroun and says that he will deliver result befitting of this huge responsibility. Iroun gets closer to Han Cheol and says that he is now acting like a leader. Iroun then gives an intimidating look and asked Han Cheol that as now he is the leader of the cult, how he is going to solve the issue of the income source. Han Cheol and the elders stood silent, and they have no idea what to say. At that time, Yunhei comes and tells Iraun that she has a way and tells to leave this matter to her. Yunhei tells Iraun that she may not know the Blood Castle situation as well as her grandfather, but when it comes to outside matter, no one is capable than her. She requests Iraun to give her 1 week and she will solve the urgent problems. Seeing her ability to manage a guild alone, Iraun also thinks that she will be the best person to solve this. He then gives Yunha the full authority and tells her to solve this matters quickly. 1 week later, we can see Yunha has come to Iraun's room with a report. She tells Iraun that she sold all the shares and assets of the Gangha group. Iraun gets a shock hearing this news. Iraun is confused, so he asked Yuna if it was necessary to sold them. Yuna says that Gangha group had already fulfilled its role. They've sealed off the entrance to the Blood King's castle and devised a way to maintain their identities. Since a significant portion of the shares had already been sold off, continuing to grow Gangha group would only benefit others. Over time, it would become harder to even get a fair price for it. So, she liquidated it. Hearing this, Iraun gets the situation and praises her for her correct decisions. Yunha also says that she has also disposed the guilds. Even the guilds, Iraun asked. She replies that their guild has been exposed to Hwasun, so she thought that it would be better to start anew. Hearing Hwasun's name, Iraun thinks of his revenge, but after give a second thought, he gets that if he fights with Hwasun now, there is a greater chance that the Blood King's castle will be destroyed. So for the time being, he decides to avoid them. He then focuses the Yuna's words and asked what he means by starting new. She tells Iraun that she plans to create a new guild, a completely new guild, with a brand new identity starting from scratch. With knowing that with so many established factions, it's nearly impossible and reckless, but she thinks that it is possible as the blood cult is not the same as before. Iraun stops her and says that even though the blood cult has gotten stronger, but still they are struggling to survive. Yunha falls on her knees and seems nervous. Iraun tells her that the cultists lack far too much experience in fighting with people. Yunha lowers her head and says that the blood god is right. Iraun tells her not to worry as they will gain experience and there is a way to get stronger. Yunha asked Iraun how they can grow stronger. Iraun tells her that he will tell that in the right time, but for the time being, he asked Yunha if she has decided a name for the new guild. Yunha replies, of course, and says that the name of the guild will be King God, General Emperor Majesty Iraun Guild. Hearing this, Iraun tells her to drop it. He then thinks and tells Yunha to name the guild after her name. Yunha asked why her name. Iraun says that as she will be the guild leader, so it's appropriate that the guild is after her name. Yunha says that who can she be the leader when the blood god is there? Iraun says, you really get dumb at moments like this. Did you forget who I am? I can't operate on the surface. You're the right choice as the new guild leader, since your identity and face are completely hidden. Hwasun probably hasn't completely given up on tracking me yet. After that, we can see Eunha and the cultist has gone inside a D-rank gate in Namyangju. The cultists are killing zombie-like monsters. They kills most of the monsters. A big zombie appears and a member attacks it, but he gets overpowered by the zombie. Lady Yunha comes to his aid and slices the zombie into pieces. She then tells the guy to coat his weapon with holy water if he wants to kill this type of monsters. The other members kills the other zombies and clears the area. Yunha then orders everyone to begin the act. The members get down and put their hand on the blood of the monsters. The cultists are performing blood demon absorption art. This is the symbolic art of the blood god. Iraun tells Yunha to pass this technique to the cultist. Yunha refused to do this at first as this art only belongs to the blood god. Iraun ensures Yunha that there will be no problem as all the members of the cult are connected to him. The members absorb the blood of the monster and get stronger. Later at night, Iraun goes to the underground bar. The Yunha guild has made a name for them. Everyone in the bar is talking about them. The Hwasun guild also hears this and sent the leader of the Crimson Plum Blossom crop to investigate the situation. Heir gets inside and walks straight to the bartender. The man recognizes Heir and tells him not to hold any grudge from the previous mission. He offers Heir a drink and says that this type of incidents occurs regularly. Heir drinks and puts the cup on the table. The man asked Heir if he has ended up joining the cult. He also tells that Heir Black City maintains close ties with the blood cult. The man asked if he is here with a matter of the cult. Heir tells him to thinks what he thinks. Heir then gets to the main talk and tells the man to give him access to the dark nets. The man gives a serious look and says that Heir don't have the authority to make this kind of request. Heir then throws a badge in front of the man. The man takes the badge, and after inspecting it up close, he gets shocked and asked Heir if he a grand elder of the cult. Heir replies that he is, and the badge is the proof. The man then tells Heir that he can access the dark nets, but he has to pay dearly for that. Heir says that he will pay with an information. The man seems tensed and asked what's the information. Heir tells that the leader of the blood cult has been replaced. The man gets shocked and shouts that it's impossible. Heir smiles and says, "How did he know that it's impossible? Is he a person, so has all the info of the Blood King's castle?" Heir then uses his blood arts and threatens the man if there is an informer of his who sneak into the Blood King's castle. The man asked Heir if he is aware of the thing he is doing. Heir ignores him and questioned if he was an elder or a member of the blood sect. The man is nervous. He closely moves his hand to grab the knife hidden under the table. The man sitting behind Heir notices this and gets ready to make a move. The bartender also grabs the sword and is about to strike. But Heir withdraws and says there is no point in going forward. He then asks the man about the authority of the darknet. The man takes a deep breath and tells Heir that he can't give him the authority. He has to report this matter to the higher-ups. Heir says that predicted that much. He then requests that he wants to meet the Black King. Hearing this, all the men in the bar gets on the edge. The moves quickly and points their swords on Heir's neck. The bartender tells him that he is really crossing the line. The man threatens Heir, saying if he utters that name, he will not survive from here. Heir asked, "That's the fuss. It's just a name." The bartender tells that his position as an elder in the blood sect seems a lie as he don't even know anything. The man looks serious and asked Heir if he really is not from the blood sect, so what's his real purpose in coming here? The man also ensures that he will let him go in peace if he speaks the truth. As the man's sword touches Heir's neck, blood starts to flow. The flow gets in the sword and travels towards the man's hand. As the blood comes in contact with the bartender, he feels a shape pain in this head. The man's body starts to shake and his veins budge out. Heir then says that the blood of the true blood sect is immune to all poisons. It means poison dissolved in whiskey is meaningless, and that poison, which is immune to all toxins, can also become a fatal and deadly poison. The man can't even talk. The other men in the bar starts to attack. Heir tells them to stop as he has not come here to kill them. He don't want the relationship between the blood sect and the Black King to break. Heir asks the bartender if now he is able to meet the Black King. The men didn't back off, so Heir plays a little trick to scare them. He also says that the Black King is helping the blood sect because the former blood demon saved his life. Heir uses his blood and makes small needles with his blood and surrounds the men in the bar and declares that he is the new blood demon of the blood cult. Hearing this, the bartender starts to sweat. At that time, voice comes, which says, to bring Heir in. Heir smiles and says, "You have been watching King." Heir then takes all his blood back. The bartender feels relief. Heir then orders the bartender to guide him to the king. The bartender then takes Heir to a club. As they walks to the inner part of the club, the bartender looks at Heir's relaxed face and wonder why is he so carefree even though he is the leader of a collapsing sect. In front of the Black King who rules the darkness across the entire Asian continent, Heir is just an ant. The bartender can't gasp it why the Black King wants to meet this type of man himself. The two of them gets in front of a gate which is guarded by who big men. The men stops the bartender and said he can't go. The bartender tells Iran to go this way and bids him good luck. The guard then opens the gate and tells Iran to follow him. They starts to climb the stairs. While walking, Iran gasp, the power level of the guards and the people dancing in the club are all high ranks of the black sect. After a while, the guard stops and tells Iran to walk to that door. Many guards are standing there. Iran walks through them, and as he touched the door, he gets teleported to a room. In that white room, a young man is sitting on the sofa. The man apologizes to Iran for teleporting him. He says this: "It is a security measure as he is an important figure." After that, the man welcomes Iran and introduces himself as the Black King.